This neighborhood was meant for the creative, the artistic, and the energetic. Hands down, you cannot walk down these streets without being inspired. I'm talking about every block, corner, or street that you walk down. This is one of Charlotte, North Carolina's most charming neighborhoods and one of the fastest growing neighborhoods due to a lot of different things that we're going to be discussing in this video. Today, we're going to be talking about NoDa, or North Davidson for short. Now, walking shoes is a must for this video because you guys already know Charlotte don't have a lot of walkable areas. This one is at the top, hands down. What's going on, you guys? I hope all is well as always. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. This is Charlotte Living 2.0, where we talk about every single thing Charlotte. Today, we are going to be inside of Charlotte's one of the most fastest growing and charming neighborhoods around the Charlotte area, which is NoDa. Now, where is NoDa located? First of all, NoDa has one of the best locations when it comes to a lot of the major outlets like the airport, Uptown, the mall, and the country club, right? It's a very nice centrally located. You're only about 8 minutes away from Uptown, which is a super short drive, especially when you talk about a commute to work. This is one of the greatest perks that NoDa has to offer. And when it comes to, commute, traffic, all that stuff, when you factor in all that in, plus parking, when they talk about the Lynx light rail and how it extended right in a smack dab in the middle of NoDa, this made it a lot easier for a lot of different people. And we'll talk about that in just 1 second. But from the airport, you're only about 20 minutes away. Maybe 35 if you catch some traffic, which you might, because Charlotte traffic is always bad. Some of the worst accidents I've ever seen has been in Charlotte. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just trying to forewarn you for when you guys get down here. Now, let's talk about the light rail since we already mentioned it. This is what makes the extra step up for NoDa when it comes to the walkability and a lot more attractive for a lot of different people. Charlotte is the second largest banking capital in the entire United States. The second, right? Where are all those banks located? You guessed it, in Uptown. For a lot of you guys who want to go to the Panthers game or Hornets game, they play 82 games, right? Half of those is at home. For a lot of you sports enthusiasts, people, big concerts, people going to all type of events at the convention center, or just 100,000 plus people that work in Uptown, this can be huge for you when you're talking about saving money and getting to work on time and not having to worry about the delays in traffic or hit or miss traffic days and things like that. And here's what makes this great. It's going to save you a ton of money, as we already talked about, right? The average car payment right now in the United States is $726. Plus, when you're talking about Charlotte, you will pay for parking. I paid $30 one time just to go get something to eat. I ain't proud of it, but when I seen that meter man patrolling, I knew it was pay that $30 or get a $100 ticket that I didn't want to pay. Quick public service announcement for you guys that don't know, my name is Devontae Davis, and what you're doing right now, the hours and days and months of research moving to a new area, the stress, the anxiety, what you feel inside your mind, not only do I know how you feel because I've lived it and I've done it, but I've also helped a lot of people do the same thing. So make sure you guys, if you are thinking about moving up to Charlotte, hit us up with a call, email, text. You either get myself or I'll pair you with somebody close to me on our Charlotte team to make sure that you have the best experience possible when moving up to Charlotte. Because I know it's stressful moving from one city, especially if it was your hometown, to a brand new city. All right, so hit us up, call, email, text. Now back to the video. So Charlotte, when it comes to car, gas, parking, and you guys work in Uptown when you probably can't even find parking, or that monthly pass is $300, this will save you guys a lot of money. You can hop on the light rail at 36th Street, 12 minutes, bang, right in Uptown. Take it right to 7th Street, or if you don't want to hop on to the convention center, you got one more stop to go after that, you can get on right at the convention center. 12-15 minutes max, you're downtown. And this is really great because, again, the light rail literally cuts right through NoDa. It gives you that accessibility to the entire city. The vibe in NoDa is going to be very, very hipstery, right? It's very hippie in NoDa. Very hippie. It's a huge art district though. You have the amount of galleries, the murals on the side of buildings, corners, blocks, and just restaurants alone. Literally, you really can't have a business or a brick and mortar inside of NoDa without some type of aesthetic, right? You need it. You ain't gonna come in there with the cookie cutter box kind of regular development building inside of NoDa. They probably gonna kick you out just for not being artistic. Nah, I'm just messing with you, but it's very, very artsy in NoDa. It's a very young crowd too as well. A lot of young professionals. You are seeing more and more people with families kind of moving there now, but it has been known and it has a reputation for being more of a younger crowd. With the average age being only 31 years old, it is populated, right? Especially when you're talking about on the weekends, Thursday to about Sunday, a lot of people, right? Always walking the streets. And reason is because you have the farmers market, B, you have a lot of vendors that come down there. People go down there to kind of shop and hang out. Especially when it comes to the street vendors, sometimes you have to walk in the street to be able to enjoy NoDa and walk around for a decent amount of time. It's just what it is. It's nothing you can avoid. And personally, I like it, right? If you need a quick Charlotte shirt on the way to a game or something, hop off at 36, grab a shirt, head on back down. Here's what's interesting. NoDa has a lot of great things going on, especially with the walkability. Again, public transportation, we talked about that. Here's what's interesting though about NoDa. It wasn't always the greatest, right? It wasn't always the greatest. Let me use it like that. It wasn't always the greatest, but it's still surrounded by a lot of different areas that can or cannot spill into NoDa. So, you have areas like Plaza Midwood, Plaza Shamrock, Sugar Creek, Villa Heights, Tyrone Hills, right? A few of those on that list may or may not be, depending on your comfort level, may or may not be some areas that you're going to be in after dark. Let's just put it like this. They may not be the most friendliest. So do your research, because some of that stuff does spill into NoDa, which is something that you have to be cognizant of, right? You're going to find the homeless man in NoDa, right? Super cool, won't bother you, chilling. Maybe, can I have $1 or not? Next to the millionaire next door, literally. And perfect segue into it. The real estate in NoDa literally describes the neighborhood itself, right? Which most areas does. But in NoDa, you can have a small ranch or small bungalow, 1,000 square feet, right next to a McMansion $1.5 million house. There's no two houses alike inside of NoDa, and it's dope. Nothing cookie cutter about NoDa whatsoever. It's fascinating. And you'll see a lot of people build down or tear down, I should say, to build up. No matter what you're looking for, from the 1935 house to the house that was built last year, you have a wide range of construction options when it comes to NoDa. And it's something to honestly just marvel at. You're going to look at a mural that's beautiful. The real estate is going to match it just the same when it comes to that artistic aesthetic value that NoDa really, really gives off. When you're talking about purchasing in NoDa, you're probably looking at low end for a condo, townhome, 300, maybe 300 to about 5 on the high end when it comes to condos and townhomes. You can pay a easy $680 living in NoDa for a single family, and that's a nice redone bungalow, beautiful, but it is expensive to live in NoDa. So that is something that you guys want to talk about. Think about. The second thing is, when this is getting more into kind of a couple cons of it, is houses are going to be this close together. You may, or I can't even say you may, you're probably not going to get a garage unless it's a new build. You're probably not going to get a garage. You're inside the city for real when it comes to NoDa. Driveways is going to be hit or miss. I can just tell you that right now. And with the amount of apartments that's kind of coming down a tunnel for NoDa, after a long day of work, you had a bad day probably, you come home and you gotta park on the street, down the street, because you can't pull in front of your house. You're talking about frustration. I'm telling y'all. Also, I hate to add on to this, but NoDa don't have no backyard space either. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna just leave it there. But when you're talking about food, when you talk about places and things to do, NoDa definitely has a lot going for it, for sure. The evening meals, the old theater, you have a bunch of different NoDa brewing, you have a bunch of different famous restaurants inside of NoDa that's some of the best inside of Charlotte. So you got a lot going on in NoDa. There's always things to do. Again, you're a short hop on a light rail away from getting inside of Uptown. Location is great, but again, you have some things that you want to be cognizant of, especially again, the spillover, the houses or the type of houses, the new builds versus the old construction right next door to each other. Sometimes the parking, you got some things to think about. As always, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys hit me up with a call, email, or text if you guys are moving down here. If you guys need anything, shoot me an email or call or text, does not matter. You guys know I always respond. If you guys need anything, do that. And then as always, I'll see you in the next one. All right, peace.